Hello, this is Itsu. Okay, I changed from my normal L3 coil 70 turns to a slightly bigger one, which I know is resonating at a lower frequency. And with the LEDs connected, it will resonate around 7.27 megahertz. To light up the LEDs like this one at 14 or 15 megahertz. The reason I do that is because I now can use my cheap Chinese dual channel function generator, because it runs from 5 volts and I have made a 5 volt regulator from a 12 volt battery. So this is a 5 volt regulator, able to get something like 3 amps or so. And I measure the input 5 volts with the yellow probe, and I have the current in the plus 5 volt lines to this function generator. I only use one channel, channel A, and I've put channel A to 70 to 30 kilohertz, 7.23 megahertz sine wave. It's capable of doing 10 volts peak to peak, so half of the Rigel, but that's not really important. It's to see how the input changes. So now with this frequency set without any load, there is no connection to the coil, I measure the input voltage to the 5 volts. We see yellow, the 4.8 volts RMS, and the green trace is the current going into this function generator. Something like 165 milliamps. And I calculate the input power by with the math function, and you can see it's around 780 milliwatts input at this frequency. The blue trace is the signal coming out of the function generator, but it's obviously much higher frequency, so I have to change and do something with the triggering. There we are. So we can see this is the input, something like 10 volts peak to peak, something less, I guess. Yes, 7.3, it's there, 7.3 volts peak to peak, and the frequency should be this 7.27 or whatever frequency. But what I want to do is now to connect this function generator to the setup we have, and then see what the input power is doing. Let me get it to a value where it can stabilize the math function to see it's 780 milliwatts again. So all I do now is connect this white lead to the same connection as the blue probe is. With one hand it's always a problem. Okay, there it is. And I want to tune. You can see a slide in one of the LEDs here. The LED I can tune with the function generator for maximum now. You can see this is really the maximum, and it's 7.210 megahertz. And if you now look at the power consumption, It's about 850. So the difference between the 780 and 850 is about 70 milliwatts. And how I change now if I lower the frequency of the function generator. It should never go below the 780, which it is unloaded. I'm now at 6.7 megahertz. So now we are a little bit at the minimum level of this function generator, with or without connected. It's not going lower than the 780 milliwatts. I'm now at 5.4 megahertz. Okay, it's a little bit less now. Let me disconnect now. And it stays this way. So this says to me that there is no negative input power being generated. There is no power being generated by the coil feeding into the function generator, at least not at the level of the input of the function generator. Okay, thank you for watching.